Notice the lost opportunities from not listening to your intuition, either listening to that ego voice or listening to somebody else who's just not tearing you down. Who's tearing you down, right? Okay, this leads us to the mindset of overcoming resistance. You know what to do, you're not doing it. Who's ever experienced that? Just put both hands up. You want to put your feet, Marion? Yeah. What I've learned is that resistance falls in 6 categories. Again, use any example you want. Number 1, analysis, paralysis, perfection paralysis, logistics paralysis. Who's that? Right there. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Do you remember what Michelle just said? Thank you for illustrating that, Michelle. Like, your gut says yes, and then you go analyze the shit out of it, and you talk yourself out of it. Who does that? Right? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna say it just because you said it, okay? She said decision constipation. She can't quite get it out. Hashtag. Where's Chris? Chris, we got a new hashtag. Constipation what? Decision constipation. Let it go. Let it go. This is starting to be like last year. No, I'm not saying that on stage. I'm not saying that on stage. I didn't even hear that. What'd you say? I still didn't hear. Oh, no. David. I don't trust you at the mic. No. Right, Jenny? We're smart. We don't let him get to the mic. It's fine. No. Kelly's right behind you. Unfortunately, she's right behind you. You guys did this on purpose, sitting next to each other.
We're just waiting for day 3, though.
Because it always happens morning of day 3. All right, analysis paralysis is where you don't follow your gut and you go into just dissecting everything. So, my situation is different, or in a case like the invitation yesterday, my business is different. Where are you? You have the IT business. Where are you? I talked to you this morning. Yes, right? Notice there's resistance from your business partner who would say, but our business is different. They won't know how to help us. Nonsense, right? Every business at the level that you're at needs team, systems, business models, leveraged marketing, leveraged differentiation, the right leadership, everything, right? It doesn't matter whether you have a beauty business or you have an IT business or a youth services. It's all the same. So notice how we use the analysis, logistics, and all that to talk ourselves out of something. Then there's the, but how do I know if it's the right time? The time is when? Why? Because all we have is now. The past and the future don't exist. The time, I knew you meant that. Because why would you unnecessarily delay the results you want now? That makes no sense, right? We do it, but it makes no sense, right? So that's like the analyzing piece, where people stay in that, write this down. Sometimes I stay in the confusion state because I'm afraid of success. So many times, yeah. Sometimes I stay in the confusion. I do, quote, confusion, so I don't have to become who I'm supposed to become. Laura Clark, you are here with us, and I'm bringing your hashtag. This is for those of you who know the hashtag. 1, 2, 3. Stop that. Stop that. Stop doing confusion. Stop doing analysis paralysis. What if it's too soon? Don't I need to wait a while first? That's like I said to Stacy Martino. Why are we doing a half-day event when we could be doing a 3-day event? Her eyes went really big. You'd understand if you know Stacy. Her eye goes really big, which means, oh shit, truth. And then we go for it. Let's stop. Let's go for it. Everybody say, let's go for it. Okay? So notice how you have previously stopped your progress by overthinking something. Turn to the person next to you and say, I'm going to stop overthinking and I'm going to trust my gut. Okay, so that was analysis paralysis, or what did you call it again? Decision constipation. I am not trademarking that. You can have it. My gift. Number 2, money paralysis. I know, deep breath. The paralysis that says, can I really afford this particular opportunity? Whatever the situation is, if you have been thinking about it for a while, it's not your idea, right? It's an opportunity. The opportunity came to you because you asked for it. And the how will show up. So, can I really afford this opportunity? Can you afford not to? Can you really afford not to? Where will the money come from? Which is not really how people phrase it. They say, I can't, which is nonsense, right? Because when you fully do your 50 ways about anything, you'll see that the money already exists. How many more people finished their 50 ways? Nice. Give them a hand. The money exists. So the money paralysis thing is not, I can see how it feels valid, but it's not. There is always a way. Say, there is always a way. There is always a way, right? So I want you to adopt a new way of behaving. You want to hustle. You want to hustle. When I started out, I used resourcefulness to get what I wanted. I hustled and I found the money. Don't use money as an excuse for not living the life that you're supposed to be living. Hustle. If it were a life or death moment, would you find the money to hire that VA, to get that office, to join us, to get a partner on board? Would you find the money if it were life or death? Yes. Why? What would you need to do? Urgency. Get creative. Get passionate. Get resourceful. Take bigger action. Yeah? So can I share with you some of the things that I've done in the past, especially in my early days? I would do an Excel spreadsheet, and I would write down all the things I wanted to afford that I couldn't afford at that moment. Right? I wanted to go to an event. I wanted to hire somebody to do systems in my business. I wanted to, whatever, buy a product. And at that moment, I didn't see the money in my bank account. So what I did is I put them on an Excel spreadsheet, because it wasn't, I can't afford it. It was, how can I afford it? And when can I start affording it? So I'd put it on the Excel spreadsheet. I would put how much it costs. And I basically put it in order of the thing that I wanted most. And I started thinking, okay, how much is that per month if I were to like break it out? And then how can I afford it? And becoming resourceful, sometimes what I did is I went online and I put I did on Google 0% APR credit card offer. And I even reached out to, does anybody went to IIN? Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Back in the day, I was having a really hard time. I called up my friend Joshua, and I said, Joshua Rosenthal, and I said, I need some help. I'm having a tough time here. And he said, no, actually, that's not how it happened. I had read a book, a business book, and I had seen him in the street, and I said, I've been thinking about you. I have a I think you should be implementing these systems things in IIN. And he said, are you really busy right now? I'm like, no, I'm strapped for cash. He said, how about I pay you part-time to do that in my business? I was like, yes. I was not too cool to accept money on the side, right? So you can find ways. And I found that taking this approach, I could afford anything. Little by little. Deep breath in. There are resources everywhere if you look for them. Once you say yes, do whatever it is fully. If you say yes to your VA, a virtual assistant, don't dilly-dally. Like, give her money-generating activities. If you say yes to a program, do everything that it says. If you bring on a business partner, bring them really on. Like, make it happen. Show up 100%. Make sense? Number 3, ruled by rules. Beware of the rules that you have around investing yourself. Some people have rules about not investing in themselves until this, and until that, and until this, and until that. Well, they're going to go far. Turn to the person next to you and tell them what rules you've had around money that have prevented you from saying yes to something you really wanted. 2 people, 1 minute each. Lightest hair goes first. Give him a high five. Shh. Can I tell you about the rules that I used to have? Yes. So, so I'm trying to think of what year this was. This was probably Gail. What was the year that you joined? That I joined GKIC? It doesn't matter. 2005, 2006, 2003. Okay, cool. Thank you, Gail. Okay, so a friend of mine and I are talking. She has her business. She lives in California. I live in the New York area. And we're talking about growing our businesses. And I say to her, I've been hearing a lot about like masterminds and like, you know, getting into one because I hear they help you grow your business. And she's like, yeah, me too. And I said, do you know of one? Because I'm really interested in joining one. And she goes, well, let me do some research and I'll call you back. And like, I don't remember if it was the same day or a few days later, but she reaches out to me and she said, I found something. I got their application. It's attached to this email. So I'm like, cool, that's awesome. I opened it up and I was like, they want what? They want $15,000? Oh my God. What? You feel you. You feel me. And I said no, and she said yes. She's like, well, I think I'm going to go for it. I'm like, really? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. And do you remember yesterday when I had that picture of that woman, the resentment section? And I was talking, I didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't go into the story then, but she started making a lot more money. And I was staying at the same level. And I started seeing her play a much bigger game, and I was taking teeny tiny incremental steps. And I started getting, this is not my spiritual self, okay? I started getting really like, who the F is she, you know? And I started getting really resentful, and I was like, that's because she's got long legs. That's because she lives in California. Damn Connecticut. And I'm blaming, and I'm getting like this, and now she's making like $50,000 a month, and I'm still, you know, like hovering, you know. And then she starts making a lot more, and then she reaches the $1 million mark, and now I can't even stand her. And I'm serious. I'm really serious. I had to talk to my intuitive healer. I was so pissed off, and it felt so unfair. Like, you remember when I said, and my stuff is better? I'm just telling you, this is real. This is real. When she sent me a Christmas card, I couldn't even open it. I'm being honest. I'm being really honest. It's ugly, but it's the truth. Because I had nothing to do with her. I was upset with myself. And finally, I was like, well, clearly there's an ROI in there. And I joined the program. I actually joined, and Gail and I were in that's how I met Gail. And I joined a lower level program because the program that she was in was now full, and I couldn't even join that one. So like that added to it, right? Fucking A, you know? And when I finally joined, of course, it all worked for me. So those were the rules I had about investing in myself. Can anybody relate at all? Or am I just the one person who is like, yeah, right? So here's what I want to invite you to do. Break your own rules. Think like Einstein. How did Einstein get to E equals mc squared? He tried, and one day he just broke the rules, looked at it differently, and he had the huge breakthrough that we're all still talking about today. Break your own rules. Turn to the person next to you and say, it's time to break some rules. And then there's the giving away the decision-making power to someone else. I spoke to somebody this morning over there. I'm not gonna, have her raise her hand or anything. But there were some tears. And she said, I really want to do this, but I'm not here making the decision by myself, and he's not here. And what I said to her is, I get it. Perhaps your spouse or partner isn't there when you are presented with an opportunity for growth. And they don't know what's involved, so they're like, what? Do you want to know why? It's because they don't have details. Many people, so if you're a risk taker and your business partner or your spouse, usually they're the opposite of you, more analytical. And they make decisions from here and you make decisions from here. Is that true? Yeah. And often, whether it's you're in business together or you're in family together, marriage together, often it's a joint bank account, yeah? What? No, not for you. No. Good. And a lot of times, the person, so Lori talked about being a people pleaser, and a lot of times the person is not being bold enough about their needs. And so they say no to an opportunity that they want, that they know would get them to the next level, because they're afraid. Do you want to know what the fear is? Fear of conflict. Right? Even though this is your life, your business, your path, your journey, there's a fear of conflict. Would you like me to help you with fear of conflict? Okay. I'm a bold heart. I have always been. And I find that not always people think this way, but this is my approach, so I'll share it with you. Hear me. You do not need to sheepishly ask for something that you want. You do not need somebody else's permission to do something that you want. Deep breath in. This is your life, your path, your journey. So this is how I do it. What's that? This is how I do it. I simply inform them that this is what I'm doing. When I came home from that event and I said, Derek, I've just joined this program. He said, really? Yes, I have. And here's why. Notice my body language. What? Grounded and confident. Not, honey, can I please do this? No. The reason I bring this up, and I know this is a really uncomfortable moment, but I cannot tell you how many hundreds, I'm just going to say especially, mostly women, have a really difficult time asking for something in their lives. It could even be, honey, I don't want to go to the sports pub again. I want to go to a nice restaurant for Valentine's Day. It's about asking, but it's about asking with confidence and conviction. You're clear about what you want, you're clear about why you want it, and just as you're asking the universe on day one of this, you ask with confidence and conviction. This, you don't even ask. You say, this is what I'm doing, and this is why. They're looking for your confidence and conviction. It doesn't matter if you're pitching your business to a venture capitalist firm. If you say, please, give me some funding, they're not going to give you funding. True? What happens if you say, you've also watched Shark Tank, right? This is what I want, this is what I'm prepared to give you, and this is why we're going to be successful. Who are you going to give money to? This one, right? Versus this one. Deep breath in. Oh boy, I can tell this is really heavy. Okay? Who is this? I'm not going to call you to the mic. Who is this an issue for? Yeah. It was? Not anymore? What'd you say? As of last night. What did you do differently? I said I wasn't going to call you up to the mic, but now you look like you have something to say. All right, give her a hand.
Hi, I'm Liz from Longport, New Jersey, and I'm the garden goddess by the sea.com.
Oh, I love that name.
And I knew when I came here that I was joining Boulder. I didn't know it was called that.
Yeah,
but
most people didn't.
because I did a gold card back in February. And I live with a very wonderful man. He's my beloved. And I told him before, I was trying to warm him up before we came, I'm going to do this thing, but then last night was the moment of decision. And I've done the 50 ways, but I was scared. I was really, really scared to take that leap. And take that leap with or without his permission. I am very lucky that I can run my business and not have to pay the bills with it. He pays our mortgage, and that's been an adjustment for me because I've been very independent my whole life. And, I can have a business. I can have my business today because he takes care of everything. And so last night when I called him, and it was the moment that it was oh shit, Oh, let me backtrack for a second. I haven't done an investment like this in myself in 18 years when I put down money for a Tony Robbins program.
Yeah.
And so, and since then I've been very involved in personal development work, but I oftentimes come through the service channel, oh, well, I'll assist, or I'll, be part of the team that's launching something, and so therefore, I don't have to put my own money on the line. And as a result of my Tony Robbins investment, for quite some time I had some credit issues. And so, and it was very much of a shame thing, because it's well, wait a minute, I did this program and I can't figure this out. And it took me a very, very long time to pay it off, and in the process really screwed up my credit. So I have only had credit cards, 2 credit cards that I've gotten in the last, 6 years, 8 years, that I was so grateful when I was able to get a credit card again. that I accepted, like the $1,000 balance that came with it. I couldn't get any more than that. So I have been like running my business for 8 years. When people say like running it on your credit cards, it's like, that's it. That was the only nut that I had. And so when I came in here, I knew that, I know my man well enough to know that he will eventually give me what I want. But there was something about that didn't feel right and felt kind of sticky. And he's under a lot of stress at work and all this other stuff. And of course, that all blows up this week. And I'll try to tighten it up. But so last night when I called him to say, now's the moment, I gotta do this. But it wasn't quite as together as I'm sounding right now. It sounded a little bit more like, and one of the things I love about men is like, they're like, what do you want?
Just get to the point.
And I, in the moment, I was like, I don't even know what I want. It's like, I want you to take care of this. And it was clear the conversation was going nowhere fast. And it was very interesting because if anyone in this room has ever had credit shame like I have, one of the things is when people talk about, I got these 0% credit card offers. I never get those offers. But the week before I came here, for the first time in 12 years, my credit score went above 700.
Congratulations.
So, guess what came in my email yesterday? An offer for a 0% credit card for 15 months, which I did figure out. Although I know our monthly kind of tuition, in my mind, I knew I could do $500 a month for 15 months.
Yes.
And it is 0% for 15 months. So I applied for that card last night. I was accepted. And I paid for my tuition to Bold Heart with my credit card.
Do you notice that, like, David, you want something, you just get it? Well, I mean, you know what I mean. No, what I mean by that is you speak with confidence and conviction about what you want. Yes. Why is it that men do that and most women don't? That's a whole 3-day event that I have not created yet. But you've got to show up with confidence and conviction about what you want in your life. Is it okay that I just said that? I mean, I'm just calling it as it is, right? Jenny, you have like this, look.
But
I have to keep going?
I'm just going to say, even in wonderful, the best of relationships,
Even in the best of relationships,
and understanding of money, there's still that thing where you sit there and you're like, because
as women, we're caretakers and we're taking care of everybody else.
feel like we're taking from them.
And we feel like we're taking from them, right? So thank you, Jen. Thank you. Yeah, give her a hand. So if they say, so you show up and you say, this is what I want. And I'm not just talking about a spouse around this situation. When Lori, are you still here or did she leave? When Lori had to, oh, there you are. I'm not going to share too much, but when we were talking, you were talking about your team and we started replacing your whole team. No more of this, Lori like this. And Lori now shows up and she's like, this is what we're doing. No people pleasing. She has a team that now respects her because she's standing up straighter and she's communicating as if it's a done deal. Can you give her a hand for that? So, if they say something, you could say, really, get to the point. Do you love me? Do you believe in me? Do you fully support me in anything and everything that I do? Just go there. Don't be afraid of the confrontation. And just say, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for us. The reason why you can't just be all about yourself in a situation like that is because whoever we're talking to, the business partner, the spouse, will never support something that they believe would compete for your attention and sometimes even your affection. Does that make sense? Breakthrough? So, I have chills for you. I just got them. Reassure them that nothing will get between you. Reassure them that this is for the two of you. Reassure them that you believe in yourself. Say, I believe in myself. Right? And that you're doing this because you want a bigger future for you, too, for your family, right? And that you're doing this the right way. You're not going to go about doing something that doesn't make sense, right? You're doing it for the both of you. And if you're dealing with a person that is also holding the strings on something, arm them with the facts. I believe in that very strongly. Help them get to the decision with you, right? It's not, I'm doing this and then they have to stew all alone. No, arm them with the facts, arm them with end results. They want to see that the proof is in the pudding. They want to see that the results will come. Tell them that you will work like mad to make it happen. You will work like crazy to keep your word. And then, keep your word. You want trust? Be trustworthy. Deep breath in. Say, I can and I will. Watch me. Say it with me. I can, I will, watch me. And then go make some progress. Go implement. Go get results in the first few months. They will respect you even more. Right? Involve them. Hey, you want to help me with this? It would be great if you could do this with me if you want to, right? That way you do it together. And this is I find that this line, this is what I've used. Not used, but this is what works for me. Your full support is what I need most right now. Say it with me. Your full support is what I need most right now. Deep breath in. Fifth thing, self-doubt. Self-doubt gets in the way of you making big decisions. Are you with me? Who? Self-doubt? Oh, yeah. Perhaps you're scared. Who's scared? Yeah, right? Can I really do this? Do I have what it takes? Or will this be another thing that I don't succeed at? I spoke to a woman again in the back today, and she said, I've done things before, and I really admire her. And she said, I just didn't do the work. Right? You may have said yes to opportunities in the past. Right? You may have said yes to opportunities in the past that you didn't work. And they didn't work. Maybe the opportunities were not crafted for who you really are. You know? Maybe they're not set up with accountability. Maybe they're not the right, authentic way of doing things. This is different. Perhaps you let yourself or others down last time. Has that ever happened? Yeah. Let's do an exercise. I want you to think about an opportunity that you've said yes to in the past, Again, whether it's a hire, whether it's working with someone, whether you had a partnership with someone. Who's had a business partner and it was bad news? Sorry, Anna. I looked right at you. Sorry. Right? Bad news. Who's made an investment in a mentor and it didn't work? Who's hired a team member only to fire them not too long thereafter? Okay. We have a process called Groundhog Day. Let's pass around the Groundhog Day sheets. You know, anybody see the movie Groundhog Day? Little known fact, Derek and I got married on Groundhog Day. You know in the movie how he has an opportunity to do something all over again each day? It's the same day, he gets to live it all over again. This is all eyes on me. All eyes on me. I want to explain it, okay? At first, he goofs around, right? He says nonsense to everybody. He eats donuts and drinks soda and smokes cigarettes for breakfast and just, you know. As he meets his love interest, Andy McDowell, he starts to clean up his act and learn from his past mistakes so that the next day, he doesn't make the mistakes he made in the past. He does more of what worked and less of what didn't. And what does he get in the end? He gets what he wanted, the ideal outcome. One of the things that we do with our business owners is we do the Groundhog Day exercise. So whatever experience you want to put down, right? Maybe it's a hire, maybe it's a program, whatever. I want you to write down what worked. What did you do well? Anything that was a failure, right? So pick something that you consider to be a failure. What worked? Second column, what didn't work? What didn't you do well? Perhaps you didn't show up completely. Perhaps there was the wrong people, right? Third column, if you had to go back in time, but you have 20/20 knowledge about this experience, and you were given the opportunity to start it all over again, knowing what you know worked, knowing what you know didn't work. Third column, what would you do differently this time? And fourth typically is what non-negotiable new standards and things like that. For now, just ignore the last column, just do the first three columns. Questions? Go.